The more I age, let me put it that way, I am starting to slowly realize that I am tired. Okay, I am exhausted. I am tired of being the young black educated woman that is juggling a whole bunch of things, and today we are going to talk about it. Welcome to another episode of This May Be Nothing. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, it's another day, it's another episode, another weekend has come, and welcome to This May Be Nothing. This is the podcast where I say the things you're definitely thinking. I just say them with slightly more oversharing and slightly less shame. Well, it depends. There are some things I'm just like, "Ooh, maybe not." But I am your host. My name is Diana. I am your soft life strategist, your fellow, I got it, I think, kind of girl. And listen, this is basically the unofficial kickoff of a little string of episodes I'm calling Healing Fatigue Meets Emotional Honesty with a sprinkle of boundaries and a dash of I am doing my best. I am trying. And today, guys, ew, today is for the strong friends, the I'm fine texters, you know, the people who will rearrange the whole earth before asking for help moving a couch. And the thing is, I see you guys, I am one of you guys, and I'm standing in solidarity, but this may be nothing, but I really believe hyper independence isn't the flex we all thought it was or is. To be honest, it's exhaustion in disguise. And we love to say we're just efficient or we're just used to handling things by ourselves. But sometimes, like, let's be honest, and I'm going to be very honest here, we are tired. I am tired, like bone deep. I don't even know what I'm going to order for dinner, kind of tired. So let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about where that comes from and how we ended up here. Because I think the more I interact with the world, the more I'm seeing this hyper independence just everywhere. Everyone is busy, everyone is doing something, everyone is juggling 500 different things at the same time. And we're going to talk about this. And we're even going to talk about why letting someone else kind of just hold the bag or the baby or the deadline might not actually kill us. All right. So let's just go ahead and say it. Most of us didn't wake up and chose hyper independence. I certainly didn't. Ain't no ways. If anything, it chose us in that slow, sneaky, oh, I guess no one else is going to do it kind of way. And I think we've all said it, right? I remember hearing I remember hearing someone go, if you want something done, do it yourself. If you want something done right, send a woman. And before you come for me, it wasn't me that said it. I'm just, repeating what someone said. And I laughed at it because I'm just like, actually, I think we all do that sometimes. And for a lot of us, it started early, if I think about it. Like maybe your home life wasn't great. And maybe it was a lot. And you had to be the reliable one. Maybe every time you probably asked for help either didn't show up or it came with terms and conditions. I will do this if. Maybe that was the case. Or maybe, and this one is sneaky because I don't think a lot of people acknowledge it for it being hyper independence, at least in the way that we're talking about it now. Um, but maybe you were the person that was praised for being so low maintenance, you were so strong, or you are so strong, you're so chill, you don't need anyone, you don't need anything, you've got this. And over time, You started believing that not needing anything or anyone was a good thing. For me, at least, even the thought of just asking for help used to make me feel physically uncomfortable. Like, let me just rearrange my soul real quick before I ask for anything. And the weird part is, I wasn't even sure what I was afraid of. Now that I think about it, I mean, I've been thinking about this for a very long time, and I'm just like, what was I actually afraid of? Just that, just asking for anything, asking for help made me feel so exposed. I'm just like, oh, I put my business out there, and I don't like this. Have you ever refused help, even when you knew you were drowning a little bit? If yes, trust me, you are in good company. Okay? And a lot of us learned self sufficiency as a survival skill. And I think we might need to just rewire our brains a little bit. Okay? And we're going to do this together. And I think sometimes that hyper independency is so tricky because it looks good from afar. You know, when you're standing on the other end and you're looking at hyper independency, it's like you actually have your stuff together. Like, damn. Like, come on, the boss girl, boss woman doing the thing that she needs to do, the hustling guy that's making moves. Like, yeah, you probably hear things like, you're so on top of things, you always come through. My absolute favorite is, you're just built different. Yeah, built like a tired little forklift running on fumes. That's how different I'm built. And people see you thriving, but they don't see the calendar panic attacks or the mental gymnastics. Sure, I can squeeze that in when you're already maxed out. Like, you're juggling so many things and you really only have the energy and the space for only 2 or 3 of those things. And the wildest part about this whole thing is that sometimes you start to believe it too, right? You start to think that this is just who you are until you crash. And not even dramatically, just quietly. Like, your body's like, yeah, no, cut the cameras. We're done here. There's nothing for you to see. We're closed. And I had a moment not so long ago, like maybe like a few months ago, let me put it that way. Everything was spinning. I was trying to juggle work and my social life and the relationships that I had, and I was trying to show up and serving and all these things. And it came to a point where I was just like, actually, I can't do this anymore. And I just sat on my couch. I did not cry. I didn't rage out. I just sat there. I just sat and I stared at my ceiling. And I think if you were probably in the room with me, it was definitely giving Windows 98 shutdown. And it was in silence. Like, nothing was happening. And I think in that silence during my crash out, that's when this question showed up. And I started asking myself, hold on, wait a minute, pause. What am I doing all of this for? Like, what am I trying to prove? Like, what's going on here? And I asked, like, who am I trying to protect? And so let's get into that. Let's get into that question. Because I think most of us aren't hyper independent because we are confident. We are hyper independent because we're scared. And so true in my life and in some of the people that are very close to me. Like, I see it. You are scared of being disappointed again. You are scared of feeling like a burden. And letting some people in and regretting it later. And that's not selfish. I don't think it is. It's just self-protection. But protection does have a cost. Because the more we say, I don't need anyone, the more we start to believe it, right? And the harder it is to be seen. And honestly, if there is one thing that I truly believe, is that being seen can feel more dangerous than being alone. So here's a gentle check-in. Is there something you've been handling by yourself that you kind of wish if only someone else knew about it, if only somebody else could just take the baton and run with it because you are tired? Even thinking about that can make you sweat, now that like I'm thinking about it and I'm just like, it would be nice if somebody took over that and this and that. Okay, there aren't that many things on my list, but it would be nice just to have a bit more breathing room. And also a little bit panicky because I'm just like, yo, but who will do these things? And that's okay. That's okay if you feel that way. Stretching isn't always comfortable, and I think we're just realizing that there is a lot on our plate. I think what we don't really talk about as a society is how much, or the cost that hyper independence comes with, the cost of being the strong one all the time. And I'm not even talking about money. All right. I'm talking about peace. I'm talking about sleep. Although when it comes to that one, I don't have any problems in that department. Put my head on a pillow, put me horizontal, and I'm out. Right. But I can imagine that it costs some people that, right? Friendships that could have been deeper. We keep everything surface level. The It costs us the joy that didn't require control, you know? And maybe even moments we could have let go, but we didn't. And hyper independence trains our nervous system to stay on guard all the time, even when you're tired, even when somebody would help, if only you let them in. But when you are the strong one all the time, right? When you're that person that is seen as, there's that chick that has it all the time, then people stop checking in. They think that you're good because you look good. Yeah, right? You're juggling all these things. You look good. You become the go to, but rarely gone to. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but you deserve to be checked in on as well. Like you do. So, what now? What are we doing? I'm not about to act like I've cracked the code to this soft launch, Oh, I need help all the time. I have not, but I've been trying a few things and we can call it my soft life starter pack. Okay. You can get it in the transcripts below if you're listening on Apple Music. Um, but the first thing that I'm definitely doing is trying to say yes, even when I could easily just say, no, 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 it's fine. I've got this. Like if somebody is offering me help and I've expressed that, this is something that I'm feeling overwhelmed with, or I would appreciate it if, this was taken off my plate and somebody does ask to grant help, I'm going to cringe maybe a little bit. Yeah, but I'm going to say yes. And as much as it is hard to just be like, no, it's fine. You don't have to worry about that. Like sometimes I am worried about it and I want somebody else to deal with it. And so, yeah, I'm learning how to say yes. I am asking myself at what cost. And that is because someone a while back once said, she was talking to her husband and she was just like, yeah, but just because you can do it doesn't mean you have to be the one to do it. And I was like, actually, you're cooking. Okay, you are cooking. Just because I can juggle 6 things at once doesn't mean that I have to do it. And I think the one thing that I have really struggled with, like really, really, really struggled with, that I'm trying to get over, honestly, is speaking before I spiral. Even if it's just a text that says, hey, Joe, dude, listen, I'm overwhelmed and I can't come to the bride this weekend. I'm not in the right headspace or whatever it is. And I have felt that, not felt, but I've seen that when I am honest about how I'm feeling and if I'm overwhelmed or if there's just a lot going on, I am met with a lot more grace from my friends and from my family than I expected. And then I go back to that initial question. It's like what am I scared of? if I just say the truth? Like, what's the worst that can happen? And yeah, when I tell people that I'm overwhelmed and I actually don't have the capacity to do this and this and this, I am met with that grace that I needed. And it just sets the tone for the rest of my day and whatever it is that I'm struggling with. Lastly, something else that I am doing differently is redefining what strength looks like. And maybe strength doesn't need to be loud, the unbreakable kind. Maybe it's the kind that just whispers, I'm doing my best and that's enough. Like, I am just a baby girl. I really am just a baby girl and I'm trying. Okay. So if you are somewhere in between, I got it, and actually I don't, you are not broken. I don't want you to think that. You're just learning. And that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to learn all together. Simunia, we are one. And I think, if anything, this is the podcast that's going to validate your feelings, because many times in society and we look around us, there is this need for hyper independence. There is this need to be able to juggle 700 different things at the same time, because that's when you are seen, right? And yeah, I think we get this a lot from even like hustle culture. And I'd mentioned this before in the podcast. Like, hustle culture is becoming such a norm that I don't see a lot of young people taking like just a breather, a break. It's I need to get all of this stuff done before I can think of the holiday to Cape Town. And we need to start redefining what strength looks like. What maybe strength is resting, finding the time, making the time rather to rest. That is strength. And I want us to I'm not a massive journaler. Let me put it that way. But every now and again, I'd whip out my notes app or one of the many diaries that I have that has a whole bunch of stuff in it, and I would write my thoughts and my feelings and all of that, and it's soothing and calming and so forth. And so maybe you are a journaler, and your notes app has a few things in there that you don't want the world to see. I don't know, but I found these 3 prompts that have really kind of helped me um, do a little introspection. The first one is, when did I first learn that needing help might not be safe? And let's be honest about that answer, because I think sometimes we don't even realize that, oh, this stems from something deeper, right? Like, hey, someone didn't show up for me and therefore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 happened. But ask yourself that, like, when did you first learn that needing help might not be safe? Secondly, what's one thing you're carrying alone right now? Thirdly, what would it look like to let someone hold even a piece of that thing? And actually, when I'm done with this episode, once it's uploaded and all of that, I'm probably going to re-listen to this again and then hear these questions. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to answer these questions myself, because I feel like we just move on with life. Like, all of this is normal. But we never really sit down and ask ourselves these things. And yeah, I think we should. So you are not dramatic for wanting care. You are not weak for wanting softness. You're just human. And that's the good thing. I think it's only fair that the main character of the week this week is none other than mutual support. Because let me tell you something, she is low key. She does not need the spotlight whatsoever, but she shows up. She receives, and she does not do it all by herself just to prove a point. She's the part of you that is learning softness, and that she constantly has to remind you that softness isn't scary. It is just sacred. And even if you are not her yet, don't worry. You're getting close. Trust me. All right. So yeah, guys, this may be nothing, but letting people in isn't weakness. Maybe it's a quiet kind of strength, and we need to remind ourselves of that every single time. Thanks for hanging out with me. If this gave you a little breath, a little softness, a little dude, same. I'm glad. All right. Same mic, same chaos, same courage. And I will definitely catch you in the next episode.